Welcome to Pub Talk, the unofficial official craft beer podcast of Oklahoma, where we're all about the 3 Bs, beer buddies, and bullshit. On today's episode, we're celebrating a huge milestone for the show with our friends over at Broken Arrow Brewing, who were kind enough to let us brew a beer for this special occasion. We're excited to share the process with you for our 300th episode, and while this may be 300 for us, clearly this isn't Sparta.
So the beer is called This Isn't Sparta, an obvious play on the fact that it's our 300th episode in the movie 300. There's 7 million beers on Untapped called This Is Sparta. So how about This Isn't Sparta? It's the only one out there. 5, 6 different types of hops, depending on who you ask and when you ask them. Yeah, it's delicious. A lot of pineapple flavor.
Used a lot of really juicy hops. Just trying to get all that citrus flavor that we possibly could. We wanted that very specific flavor of pineapple and mango and just, yeah, really juicy. So we use those.
It's over 7% alcohol by volume, so it'll get you there.
It's going to be gone within a week. Come get it now, or you're not going to be able to have it. Sorry. So mashing in, basically we throw about, 400 to 500 pounds of grain into a mash tun. So 500 pounds of grain goes in, hot water goes in. We're trying to balance out the hot water, cold water to make sure it becomes, the ideal temperature. We're usually looking for about 153 degrees.
Stay under if you would, just because when it's all finished, there will be just that much grain sitting around the edge. So we got to figure it out. Another thing that's not going to stay there. I don't know a better phrase.
And the best part's at the end anyways, whenever this is all gone, that's when he has to get the temperature to 152 degrees after adding grain and water. So he's up there adjusting hot water, cold water, stirring, and it's weird watching because he knows how many stirs to do to get it to drop, 3 degrees, and it's
So one of the coolest parts was the mashing in. We've had a lot of guests talk about that being their favorite part of the brewing process, and actually getting to experience in that was pretty awesome because you do smell that when you go into some breweries, but actually having it right there in your face was fucking awesome. I'm probably going to talk about smells a lot through all this, but I like that part quite a bit.
Yeah, mashing in, I was surprised how heavy those bags of grain are. I can sling around a bag of dog foods, I think about the same weight at home with no problem, but for whatever reason, I guess I wasn't prepared for how heavy that would be.
There was also, when I was doing the mashing in, Tyler compared it to, I think, coffee or brewing or something that actually made it click for me at exactly what we were doing, that process, other than just dumping the grain in. So getting the knowledge from the people that were actually doing it was really cool.
So after that, we're just going to sparge. So we're just going to kind of slowly take everything from the mash tun over to our kettle. And then once it gets to the kettle, that's where we're going to add our hops and anything else we need to add into it.
Yeah, I was excited to the fact that we got to add just a shitload of hops to this thing. That really brought out the fruit flavors, and I know that it's been referred to as a West Coast IPA, but to me it tastes more East Coast. It's just juicy AF, as the kids say.
dump them in, right? There's no air.
And it'll start kind of foam and frothing up, and it looks like it's about to get out of control. You can grab that hose and just spritz it.
Okay.
that's coming in.
I would say what I started like this. There's nothing like special. It's the top. Yeah, it doesn't any special way slow.
Number 2 is our
Again, the smells, the hops, going in that little room and looking at all the different hops all laid out and getting to smell each one. Could have huffed that stuff all day. And one thing that was really cool was, since I said that I enjoyed getting to actually brew, but being near people that knew what they were doing and seeing their knowledge in action. So there was the part where I think we had asked Jared about, why we put the hops in at a certain time, and he just sat there and dropped knowledge on us about, what happens when you put the beer or put the hops in at different times.
What's the difference between adding it so early and so late?
So the amount of bitterness. So hops are oily. They have a resin on them. The longer they're in the boil, the more bitterness you extract. The shorter they're in the boil, the more flavor and aroma you get. So typically you add something at the start to just strictly bitterness. You're not going to get any flavor or aroma off it. They call it isomerization. You're just breaking down that oil. It gives you bitterness. But the least amount of time that's in there, the more the flavor and aroma you get from the process. Typically, you do a addition at the 60-minute mark, an addition at the 20 or 30-minute mark, and an addition at the very end. But on a lot of these new IPAs, they do, it's just throwing a ton of hops in the last 5 or 10 minutes of the boil. You still get some bitterness, but you get a big flavor and big aroma.
Dry hop is even later than that, right?
Dry hops to the fermenters. Yeah. And that same deal, since you're not boiling it, you're not getting bitterness, you're getting the pretty much just aroma. If you leave it in there too long, though, it can get kind of grassy and veggie.
So my least favorite part is mashing out, which thankfully these guys got to do during the brewing process. So they got to pull all the grain out. It was about 400 pounds of grain they had to pull out of the mash tun. And I didn't have to do it that day, so it was amazing.
I did really like the graining out. Actually getting in there and pulling all of the stuff out of the tank was fun. I haven't done a lot of manual labor in the past couple years, so it was cool to actually get to do something like that. So I enjoyed that quite a bit. Plus, again, those smells were right in my face, steam and all.
Yeah, graining out, mashing out, whatever you want to call it. I was just surprised because that was a 2-day brew process. It shocked me how quickly that first day's spent grain was nasty smelling the next day. When that dude came to pick it up, that was so stinky.
I mean, if I had to come up with a least favorite part, I guess the bad smells.
Yeah.
The bad smells, the smelling those the spent grains, the tank. That was.
Which is weird because like spent grains, like as soon as they come out, smells amazing.
Right.
It smells like breakfast.
Yep.
And then the day after, it smells like. So once once we grain out all the grain that we're done with, we give it to a local farmer. So he is a local police officer, Jonathan Kaleka. So he takes that, he goes back to his farm, he feeds it to his pigs, he feeds it to his cattle, feeds it to his sheep, feeds it to everything he has at his house. So
One of the things I think that we found interesting when we spent those couple days up here is how much time you guys spend cleaning. On a normal brew day, roughly how much would it spend cleaning tanks and stuff like that?
So, I mean, cleaning is 95% of the day. Brewing is, everybody, loves to, fantasize this idea about brewing. And it's like, oh, we're going to go in and we're going to brew, and it's literally, brewing is the easiest part of the day, and you spend 95% of your day just cleaning everything. But it's a necessary evil. I mean, if it's not clean, we wouldn't send it out. If we ever have any question about our product's quality, we're not going to send it out.
I also thought it was really cool to see Jared taking different samples and testing them with the refractometer or something like that. Found it fascinating, even though I had no clue what he was looking for.
Now I'm going to scoop out of the top and take one more reading on that.
Yeah, no, we're just looking for like the pH balance and the gravity. Just making sure everything is perfect. And if it's not perfect, then that way we can adjust it mid-process and make sure we're making good beer. Because if we're not making good beer, we're not doing our job.
So the transfer part was really cool. I liked seeing the beer going through the different tubes, that little window, seeing this stuff go by. Fascinated by this entire process because I personally have never brewed anything, not professionally, nothing at home. So seeing all this stuff was really cool. And it's something that I've wanted to do. I'm always fascinated with everybody that we talk to about the brewing process. So it's something I've wanted to do for a long time. I'd like to do it more. I'd love to do more of these with different people. But I found myself liking every single part. So even if we get to a part of least favorite, I don't think I had a least favorite part of the process because all of it was fun to me because it was new. And we've been talking to people about this crap for years, so it was cool to actually be a part of it.
And you found out the cool time where it's much easier to clean up at this point than it is at the home brew, like 5
Right.
gallon.
So other than getting to spend time with Joe and Tyler, my favorite part would have to be just getting to participate. So I got to do some graining in, adding some hops, helping with the grain out and some of that cleanup. Just anything I got to be involved in, I enjoyed. I would say my least favorite part had to be just the waiting game, just waiting a lot, especially that first day. And especially because we helped, but we didn't do a lot of the bulk of the work. And so when Tyler and Jared are cleaning that big fermenter out, and we were waiting around for a couple hours, and that's apparently not uncommon to spend a lot of time waiting. So I'm not a patient guy. Waiting is not my favorite thing.
You showed up, you worked your butts off all day long. You showed up at like 8 a.m.
Yeah, it was early.
You mashed in, you went from start to finish, which most people who want to learn how to brew don't do.
Oh.
They show up and they're here for a couple hours and they say hey and they leave.
That's
You
not
guys
fun.
showed up, you went through the whole process, and yeah. So I'm so proud of you guys for that, and you definitely deserve this 300th episode beer.
I don't get how, if anybody wanted to learn why they would try to bounce out as quick as they could. I want to absorb all of that stuff. Right. No, thank you again for everyone at Broken Arrow Brewing for helping us make this beer become a reality. It's something that, like I said, hope we get to do more stuff like this. But it was really cool being here and everybody that worked here being happy to be a part of it and trying to come up with different ways, Tyler several times, do you want to get a shot of this? Do you want us to do this to get a different shot? It was really cool to see everybody involved and wanting to be a part of it. It was awesome.
Yeah, I just appreciate Joe coordinating this for us, Tyler and Jared and Austin from Babco for letting us do it, and Tyler and Jared for doing most of the work. I think this is a really cool way to do our 300th, and we've had several other Oklahoma breweries that have expressed interest in doing similar things with us in the future, so I look forward to maybe for anniversary episodes and things like that, doing other stuff like this. I appreciate everybody that listens, watches, however you consume the show, likes us and follows us on social. And this has been awesome.
So this is an amazing feat. Most people never see 300 episodes. They have done it. They have made it their own. And they have succeeded. I am so proud of them. And I'm honored to call them my friends. I can't wait for the next 300 episodes.
That's going to do it for the 300th episode. Thanks again to everybody at Broken Arrow Brewing Company for making this beer happen for us. And especially want to call out Joe for helping us get this going, and to Jared and Tyler for doing most of the work on the brewing. Thanks to everybody that came out on the 15th. It was good to see everybody. I hope everybody enjoyed the beer. We're going to take probably 2-3 weeks off, let some life stuff settle down, and we'll be back, and we'll start having some more guests on the show. So in the meantime, make sure you've hit the subscribe button on your favorite podcast app so you never miss an episode. Give us a follow on social media at Pub Talk Podcast. And you can always check out our website at pubtalkpodcast.com. And again, just thanks to everybody, not only for the beer, but for the last 300 episodes, anybody that's listening, watching, following us on social, interacting with us. We enjoy doing this, and here's to 300 more. So as always, never forget there's nothing in life too big or hard. You can't handle it over a few beers with your good friends. Until next time, chill till the next episode.
All right, so me and Nikki just want to say, congrats for 300. Congrats for 300. Woo! The SIM card wasn't in.
Even though I know they're in there, my heart still fucking sank when you said that. I can see record, I can see the red lights. It's like, fuck.
Yep. I did the same thing. No, I mean, seriously. I mean, it was, you guys came.